right, what's going on, everybody? We've got another episode coming at you, the Crypto Takeover Podcast. I'm excited to continue where we left off last week with the psychology of a market cycle. But before that, Brad, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm awesome, Mike. Things are good. Just enjoying it, and it's been a good morning. So, how about you?
Yeah, good deal, man. Man, it's been a wild week for me in like all areas of life. So we've got a lot going on. But it's all good. Just enjoying this life and rolling with it. And man, just excited for today. I'm excited for what you have to share for us, share with us, and continue where we left off. We kind of left a cliffhanger there with this market cycle.
Yeah. It was like, okay, we can make this an hour and a half podcast, or we can, cut it and let's continue this conversation. So,
exactly.
But yeah, I'm excited to continue the conversation and share just like how the emotions of the market work and how you can see it in all markets. And so we're going to dive into that and take a look at it today. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, why don't you just go ahead and take it away for us? I'm going to switch screens here. If we did have a few technical difficulties, so if you guys have any lag from a video standpoint, it's probably on our end, but the audio should be crystal clear for everybody. So let's just roll with it. I'm going to switch to your full screen, Brad, and we'll go from there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is not the best in my location this week. So hopefully next week it'll be better and we'll be able to rock and roll a little bit smoother, but bear with us today if it is not great.
Right.
So hey, last week we were breaking down the cycles, and we really were focused on the market because so much was happening. The market was, what was interesting about the market last week is it had like crazy down day, but then right after that day, the Bitcoin went down to, I think, 24,000, 25,000, something like that. That day, either that day or the day after that, was the sixth most traded day in Bitcoin's history. The biggest amount of volume flooded in the market on that day. I mean, that's huge. So that's a really good sign, for a healthy market to see after a big dump like that there was a massive amount of trading volume come in and also protect that zone, which was good to see. So, we'll see what happens as these markets continue to play out, but that's why we're going to continue this conversation about what we're talking about today. And so I'm going to just jump straight into this, share my screen with you guys, and we're going to jump in. So, here is the total market of crypto. And this is just a chart that shows the total market cap. And you
we can't see it. Oh, there we go. There it is. We're good.
Okay. You can see on my screen now?
We're good now.
All right. Yep. Okay. Yeah. It helps when you wait for the little notification that says participants can now see your screen.
All good. Yeah, you guys get the raw deal for us. We're not trying to like edit stuff out for you guys. Like, you get the real deal. Okay.
Yeah. So these are just some indices that I watch, I pay attention to. And what I'll show you is this market cycle goes through everything, and that we're going to talk about today. And so this is the crypto total market cap. So you don't trade this. This isn't, this is just a chart of the total amount of money that is in crypto. Okay. Yeah. So you can see, like, as of right now, there's 1.26 trillion in the crypto space right now. And then, we zoom out on this chart, you can see how this is just like been an up and down thing since the beginning of crypto, right? And so you see like these cycles that it goes through, right? And you can see this through any market. You can see this in the dollar. You see these big movements, right? And so these movements all go back to and reflect emotions. They affect money coming in and out of the market, and that's what this all comes down to. And so this chart is something I refer to a lot. A lot of people in the marketplace refer to this chart. And when I saw this chart for the first time by a mentor of mine, it made like everything make so much more sense. It was like clarity like came into my head when I saw this chart for the first time. So you can Google this chart, you can look it up. And so those of you guys that are listening, you're not seeing this right now. When you get done watching this, when you get to a place where you can stop and like, screenshot something, Google Wall Street cheat sheet, and this chart will come up. Okay, you can type in, emotional market cycle. You can type in Wall Street cheat sheet. You can type in all kinds of stuff, and this chart will come up in the images.
There's even a newer, 21st century one with emojis on it. that I saw the other day.
There's an emoji chart of this. There's a crypto one. There is a slang language version of one. There's a R-rated version.
Yeah, right.
there's a lot of versions of this chart, guys.
So go wild when you Google search.
Explain people's emotions that they experience while they're in the market. From yes, I'm the smartest person in the world to oh my gosh, I just ruined my family's future. Right. So when we take a look at this though, you can see this the candlesticks, and so the candlesticks represent the chart, as it plays out. So, we go from this and then let's just jump back onto the chart, right? And so let's look at, since we're talking crypto, let's just look at the crypto chart. And we'll just look at this top piece, let's zoom in, up here on like the last, year or so's. There we go. I mean, this kind of looks like an emotional market cycle, right? So you have this time where it came in here. We can change this to a daily. You can see it even more.
Right.
Let's do that. And just kind of look at this piece here. And so there, that looks great. Okay. So if we look at this, we can kind of see this pattern, right? So if we go back to this chart, every cycle in the market goes through this. And so you go through these phases where maybe a market has come from a crash and there's still disbelief in the market when a market starts to move again. So like right now, for example, there's a lot of fear in the market. There's a lot of frustration in the market. So you could say that we're over here on this side, right? We saw this massive move up and then we saw this massive move down. So we flip back over to the chart. We see this massive move up and now we've seen this massive move down. Okay. So there's a lot of people that bought up here, that have this anger, this fear, total frustration with what the markets have done. And so that represents, this area. So these candlesticks on this chart represent exactly what you see on the actual chart, right? And so I love how they color code this too, because it even gives you the amount of feeling that someone may have. You can see these red candles, there's frustration and anger, right? And then it starts to cool off as it turns to blue, and this hope comes back into the marketplace, as things start to move again, and then things turn green, right? And you see this rally could be real. And there's this optimism in the market. Now people are really believing in what's going on as this market starts to go up. And there's this full level of belief. And then people get excited and they're like, oh, I'm going to, sell my house and take all the money and I'm going to, go all in. And then when the market's at its top, everyone around you is talking about crypto, from random conversation at the gas station to the clerk that's checking you out at the grocery store. If you actually still go to the grocery store, not everyone does that anymore. There's this thing called Instacart that's amazing that my wife uses that we rarely go to the grocery store anymore. It's awesome. But it's everyone around you is talking about it. And everyone's we're going to be rich. We're all geniuses. And that's typically when you see these cycles start to turn around. And so then you start to see that drop off, but then it bounces back up. And so it kind of gives you this phase of, okay, market had to do a little correction. It's cool. Now we're getting ready for this next run up. And like, I'll be honest with you, during this last cycle, I bought into that. I really felt like when we were down at like 50,000 again, like that was just a bounce and we were going to run some more. And I would tell you, like, I wasn't alone in that. Everyone I listened to was, preaching that message. It was all over. I mean, we talked about this in the last one. And so go back and listen to episode 4 and you can, get a deep dive into this. But so then you go into this area of emotional complacency. It's like, okay, we just need this. It's cool. Then things start to come down a little bit more and you start to get maybe a little bit nervous about what you were thinking, and the market, you can feel it in the marketplace. You can feel people as they talk about it. You can hear their anxiety about like, why is price just like continuing to go down? What is going on? Then it's like, okay, like, I know that like I have good investments. There's like this denial, this frustration, like that we could potentially be going into a bear market. And then all of a sudden the market just tanks and it's like panic hits. Everyone's like, going crazy. You can see what it says on the chart if you're reading this. But, it's like, oh crap, like everyone's selling, type of a thing. And then it gets into this like thing. It's like, did the government do this? This is like all jacked up. Who's making the market to do this? And then it goes back through the cycle again. Now, I love this chart and I love being able to look at this because it can keep us in check.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think, Mike, what's really important is as we become better traders, as we get more involved in the markets, we always get attached to our investments, right?
Sure.
It's like, you're like, okay, like I'm invested in this company. Let's say you're invested in Tesla. You're like, you go buy a Tesla, you wear your Tesla jacket everywhere, like, I mean, okay, think about the people that drive Teslas, right? Every one of them has a Tesla jacket, they got
they're posting about it on social media,
right? It's like, especially right now, gas prices are up. They're like, haha, look at my Tesla. I'm not paying $8 a gallon for gas right now. Right. And so it's like, but you get excited about your investments. And so you have this emotional attachment to them. And it's very difficult to remove the emotion from your investments. Like, Mike, I know, like, for example, like you're invested in some NFT projects, right?
Right. Yep.
It's like, if one of your NFTs was like, just like going crazy up in value right now, is, it's like, hey, it just jumped from like 2 ETH to like 10 ETH. Like, you'd be psyched, right? I mean, and then all of a sudden it like dropped back down to 4.
Right.
Like, would you still be like, oh, it's still the best thing ever? Or would you have taken profits,
Yeah, right. And it depends, right? Because as you're riding this emotional rally, like on the left side, and you see all of this, right? And you get into that euphoria, you're in that euphoria state, and you're like, this is amazing. We're all buying Lamborghinis tomorrow, and I'm getting the dream house, and life is good, right? It's really hard to take profits at that level. Right. Yep. And that's why having a plan when you get into these investments and being aware of this emotional market cycle and being able to put your emotions aside, and being able to really secure your future is so important. And that's why, talking about this right now and having it as another type of confirmation, in your tool belt. It's really important.
I mean, I would say if you are getting into trading and you have a sweet desk like Mike does, and, you look at his background, he's got, like he's very organized, right? You can see everything. And like, if you saw the other side of his screen, from what he's looking at, like he has stuff on the walls, this is a great picture to print out, laminate, and stick it next to where you trade.
100%.
Because I would say the biggest thing is just what you said. It's so difficult emotionally to remove yourself from the marketplace.
Yeah.
And I would tell you this, like, this is one of the best things I ever heard. And I heard this actually a couple of weeks ago from a trader that I highly, highly respect. And we were talking about like the psychology of the market, and a lot of people feel like if they sell, then they don't believe in their projects anymore. They don't believe in the company. And it's like I remember, the first time I went through a Bitcoin market cycle, I was like, whatever, goes down, cool. Because I was so, I'm so like focused on the fact that I believe in Bitcoin. Right. And so I'm emotionally attached to the idea of Bitcoin and I believe in it. So if I sell it, does that show that I don't believe in it anymore? And it doesn't. But like people like, like especially like with NFTs, and we'll talk about, this is a crypto deal. So let's talk about NFTs for a second. Let's say you get involved with an NFT early on and you really believe in the project and it goes up in value like ridiculously. Maybe you got it like 0.1 ETH and now it's at like 3 ETH. And you got like 4 of them. Sell a couple of them.
Right.
Take your profits.
Nobody ever went broke taking profits.
Yeah, it doesn't. What he told me was it doesn't make you believe less in the project when you pay yourself. When you pay yourself, that is you believing in the project. And then like you can always buy back again.
Right.
But like know that like paying yourself is why you're an investor. And so if you can understand this market cycle and you can understand like there's points in the market when you're supposed to pay yourself. There's points in the market when you're supposed to get back into the market. Then it helps you understand your investment process better and it takes your emotions out of it when it is time to follow the plan that you created for yourself.
Yep.
And so,
100%.
if we look at this, what I like about this too, is you see this cycle, this, up, down, emotional cycle, in every market. So it's like, here's crypto, right? Here's the NASDAQ. It looks like an emotional market cycle, right?
Right.
Here's the S&P, an emotional market cycle. See how it runs up, has this bounce to its high. And then what does it do? It comes down. It has that complacency level where it bounces back up and gets people excited that maybe this was just a dip and now we're running back up. And then boom, it comes back down before it starts again. Right. And so you have these cycles over and over and over again. So you have these perfect emotional cycles that fall through on all these charts, right, Mike? So, S&P, US 30. I mean, let's just go through all of them, right? It's like they all have these runs up and then these runs back down. The other thing is I'm on a daily chart, but let's drop this down to an hourly chart. You can find an emotional market cycle on every chart. 15-minute.
There are emotional market cycles within emotional market cycles.
Look at this. Look at this right here. I mean, this is an emotional market cycle that played out in a market cycle, right? And so like even down to the 5-minute, I mean, you see these emotional market cycles that play out over and over and over again, Yep. And so you can take this onto any chart and find your entries and exits, find the places where you need to be. And so that's why understanding the flow of this chart is so important, because it takes the emotion out of it. It takes the emotion out of it. And when you can take the emotion out, that's when you actually become an expert trader. And I'm not saying that I've figured that out yet, but I'm saying that being able to use this allows you to become a stronger and stronger trader and take your emotions out more and more.
Yeah, it's 100% another tool in your tool belt, right? I mean, it's just, one of my mentors says, do you have the power to let power go? Right. And that is what it means is essentially, can you can you look at this chart and feel where you're at? Are you at thrill, euphoria, complacency? Where are you?
Yeah,
Right. And do you have the power to let it go? Like Brad said, you're not, it's not saying that you're no longer committed or you no longer believe in crypto or no, I mean, let's be honest. Like, we're in this to either get financially free, make a paycheck, make some wise
yeah,
investments for our families and
yeah,
futures way down the road.
yeah,
Right? That's why, part of why we're doing this. Yeah, we may have some other goals that we want to help either change our community or teach people or all of that, but ultimately we're in this to make some money, right? We're in this to put
absolutely.
some money away and help us live and secure our kids and their kids and their kids, right? So learning these tools is just going to help you accomplish that. And then just
100%.
like Brad said, printing this out, I've got multiple things printed out on my wall over here and over there and over there and over there. Like, I surround myself with this stuff,
Right, right.
so that when I'm in these moments and I'm like sitting here staring at the screen and, okay, click it, like, get it done, commit to
Yeah,
your, make the plan, follow the plan, right? I mean,
100%.
and get it done. That's what we're trying to teach you.
Yeah,
So,
that's it. And what's cool about this, guys, too, is when you feel the fear in the marketplace, it's also hard to buy.
mm-hmm,
But you
mm-hmm.
can know where you're at and emotionally remove yourself from it so you can get the best positions for the long term too. And so whether that's right now, whether the market continues to slide, who's
Yeah.
to know right now at this moment. But like, we do know that fear is high in the marketplace. So it's definitely a better time to buy right now than it was 6 months ago, and
Right.
so it's like understanding where we're at and then being able to do the opposite of what everyone else does. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
great investors say that kind of stuff all the time. Buy the blood on the streets.
Yeah.
Buy
Buy the
the
fear,
buy
sell
the
the
fear in
greed.
the market.
Mm-hmm.
Buy the fear, sell the greed.
Mm-hmm.
Warren
Mm-hmm.
Buffett.
Mm-hmm.
So just know where we're at and take your personal emotions out of it so you can make the best investments.
Yeah. And nobody's got a crystal ball. It's not easy
Nope.
to say when we're in hope or when we're in anxiety or denial. I mean, it's not easy. Nobody, even the most professional investors have been doing this for years and years and years, can't
Right.
predict it perfectly, right?
Right.
But they put all these tools together and it helps them get a better picture, right? And
Right.
if it continues to go
Right.
down a little bit from where you buy in, give it some time to turn around.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
if it continues to go up when you're looking for a sell, you just retool. You're going to have losses. Some
Yeah.
of the best traders in the world take multiple losses, but it's when you get in, you make these decisions based on these confirmations consistently over time.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna win, right?
100%.
So,
100%. So,
well,
yeah,
good
I think,
deal.
that was a great session on just understanding the cycle, understanding the emotions that come into the marketplace. If you missed last week's episode, maybe it's great to watch this episode first and then go back and watch last week's, because you can really tie in together like where we're at right now in the
Yeah.
crypto space as of, going towards the end of May of 2022. And there's a lot of different interesting emotions in the marketplace. So
Yeah,
and
for
it's not
sure.
just crypto, guys, it's everything across the board. I mean, I just showed you every index. The stock
Right.
market has been beaten this year.
Right. Right.
Even commodities have been beaten up this year. So it's very interesting how the safe haven assets have been beaten up in an inflationary year. So
Mm-hmm.
that leads to other thoughts, but we won't get into that today.
That's for another episode for sure. We'll definitely get into more. But we wanted to keep this one kind of short and sweet because we know we went longer on the last one, and we just wanted to kind of tie a bow on this emotional market cycle and the psychology of the market. So hopefully it was helpful for you guys today. Again, if you have any questions for us, you want to reach out to us, we've got our stuff, Instagram and Twitter's in the show notes. Man, if you're getting value out of this, just share it with somebody that you feel could use it, could utilize it. And we would love if you could just hit that like button and subscribe. That would help us get this out to more people who may be looking for something like this. So
Absolutely. And if you are in the DFW marketplace, Mike has an event coming up in the next few weeks. And so, we will be sharing more about that, but another crypto and craft brews event coming up in 2 weeks, I believe.
Few weeks,
something like that. So it's coming up pretty soon. So know that that's on its way, and a lot of great things to come. So stay plugged in, like and subscribe, and connect with us any way that is listed below. So thank you guys for tuning in, and y'all have an awesome week. We'll see you next time.
Yes, everybody have a blessed week.